Hello. So I figured I would go ahead and show off the arenas. I plan to show off the modded attires of the already in-game roster, but I need to get some more of that done. I got about 14 people left. That's counting 3 women. So you have Vanilla Raw, Vanilla SmackDown, Ring of Honor, Wrestling Society X, CZW, NJPW, TNA Impact, Vanilla SummerSlam, PWG, No Mercy, which hasn't been modded yet. I plan to do something with it, but I don't know. You can leave a comment suggesting something. Try to keep the stage design in mind, I suppose, because I can't change that. So I was thinking like Destination X or something like that. The big ass red X. Monday Nitro, Survivor Series. Again, leave a suggestion or something. I really don't know what to do with it. Generic house show, brandless arena, if that's what you're into. Old school ECW slash one night stand or whatever. ECW on Sci-Fi, Vanilla WrestleMania, Raw's War, and Attitude Era SmackDown. So, if you have any ideas in the comments, I guess I can do this and show you little fly-throughs of the arena. They'll have aprons and stuff. The only issue being those things you see at the top that are moving. Those are just textures of a bunch of frames next to each other. But in entrances, those get changed into FMVs because those are pretty low quality textures. Far away it doesn't matter, but up close it would look like shit. So some arenas aren't as affected by that, like this one, since that big Ring of Honor logo there in the middle, that's a texture that doesn't change. So that really doesn't affect this arena too much, but some of them like Wrestling Society X, for example, with that going back to saying Judgment Day, you're basically just, the entire entrance stage is basically just still Judgment Day, since that's the only real change. Obviously the aprons work in entrances and they don't change, but some of these have more issues than others, and some of them kind of work, kind of don't, like the CZW, because those big yellow droplet things, those don't change at all, but those again, the screens go back to being FMVs, so they say Bad Blood 2004 on them. NJPW, I considered removing the trucks because you can add transparency to textures, so I could make those trucks invisible, but they still have collision, so you could still be Irish whipped basically into an invisible wall. And I thought that was a little but at the same time, why the fuck does NJPW have 2 fucking trucks on the stage? So tell me what you think about that, I guess. I'd like to also, in this video, give a big thank you to New Legacy Inc. for plugging the mod. The support I've received so far is basically all thanks to them. So, and again, this is an arena that's during entrances is basically no longer TNA other than the apron, because those are all animated. I'm trying to look into actually modding like the ISO. Oh, that's vanilla, I don't need to show you that. Modding the ISO and changing those FMVs and maybe changing the menu music and stuff. But I don't really know anything about that for now. All I'm doing is this is just texture modding in Dolphin. So that's all this really is. So you'll just receive a texture pack, and I'll show a little tutorial how to set it up. And getting the textures to work isn't the hard part. It's kind of weird with the creator wrestlers. They each need 2 sets of textures. Because the multi-man matches, they get D-res, so I also have to make low-res textures. This is the house show. It's just pretty plain other than the big old A. All the aprons are just blank. Ropes are white. It's just generic whatever. Old school ECW. I was really lazy for the animation on that one. I just took static there on that screen at the top right, and yeah, that's all it is. I think it works, but it's definitely pretty lazy. ECW on Sci-Fi, and some of these you think would be greater, would be affected greater than others by these. Like you think this would be pretty greatly affected, but the FMV for that doesn't really say. It doesn't say anything on it. It's just kind of like barbed wire and metal and stuff. So even though I like this better, there's stuff in front of it, and like this arena is basically fine during entrances, but other ones do have more issues. Like for example, these arenas, which this obviously is not the Raw's War set, but I couldn't really do anything about that. I didn't know what to do with these because Velocity and Heat share the same apron texture, so I did the Attitude Era apron, and just kind of made old school versions of these arenas with just updated FMVs. But during an entrance, you're at Heat again, and then in the match and on this little pre-match screen, it's accurate. Same goes for the old school SmackDown. I updated these FMVs or these textures and whatnot, but they changed into FMVs. So, yeah. Well, I'm gonna work on that roster and hopefully get that video out soon. Because I'm also, along with changing the actual textures of the wrestlers, I've been changing the matchup screens so that they reflect the new textures, the new attires they're wearing. So, I'll just like kind of scroll through the edit moveset thing where you can see the pictures very well, and you can see everybody without me having to record gameplay of like every single guy, and it'll just be a little preview. So thanks for watching, thanks for supporting the mod, like, comment, subscribe.